Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, you know the drill. It does not matter what you drive. This is your All-Terrain Nation, and I'm your host, David Boyd. I about said Nissan Nation, man. Taking me back. What is going on, everybody? Man, it is Friday, first off, and thank you to if you're working on the weekends, man, I salute you because I haven't had to do that in a long time, and that is rough. But I mean, some people like it. Some people work third shift and love it. I tried it a long time ago and could never make that work. But let's see. What is up, JD Smoking Pipes, man? I am having a good night, sir. I'm about to have a better night because I got something new over here that I'm going to try in a minute. But wanted to talk some Nissans today. This is the exclusive Nissan show, or the Nissan Frontier show on Friday nights. And welcome, everybody. If you're new to the channel, my name is David Boyd, and I've been covering especially the Nissan brand since 2011, maybe, something like that. I've done a bunch of stuff within Nissan, helped get some of those, your favorite builds that you've seen Nissan show, you know, all overland builds and stuff. I had a big part in helping get those built. And I'm pretty close with the brand. But what is up, John? Man, John, are you ever going to get your Bronco, buddy? But anyways, you know, this is the Nissan show. And tonight I wanted to talk. Nissan just dropped the new EV, their EV plan. And it kind of got me thinking about, you know, where we're at in the world of Nissan with their trucks and stuff. But first, you guys know the drill. You know the drill. Tonight, got something new. Kelly picked up something new here, and hopefully you guys can hear me all right. I found the audio problem that I had last time, and working tomorrow because other people dropped the ball. Dude, that's mobile. That's a bummer, bro. But tonight we are drinking a company distilling. Never heard of it. Kelly said this guy used to work for Jack Daniels or something, and we'll try it out. See what it's like. Yeah, if it does have that Jack Daniels smell to it. So we'll get a nice couple finger pour there, and we'll go about our business. So, like I said, we're going to talk some Nissans, and you guys know the drill. I like to check in with everybody and see what is up with everybody. And if you are in any Nissan groups and you like this, share a link out, man. Share the content. You know, I want to do more Nissan stuff, but I need Nissan people to join in, or hell, you don't even have to be Nissan people, man. My Bronco people seem to join in on this, and I just like talking to those guys too, but let's see. We got a poll going up. I started at 48 minutes ago. It said, in 2030, will EV trucks be able to tow more than 100 miles? Because, what is up, Zachary Rogers? Because the towing thing, I got to thinking about that with Nissan's plan, and you know, I think it was TFL just had somebody, or they did a video on, they were trying to do realistic towing with that new RT1. And I forget what it was like. Every hour it seemed like they had to go charge this thing. And somebody was trying to do cross-country towing with that thing, which is like, I get it for a video. You're like, oh, man, maybe this video go viral for me and whatever. But that is that's a bummer for me, man. I got better things to do with my life than sit there and try to tow a vehicle across country in an electric vehicle. So let us know what you guys think on this. I'm going to end this poll real quick. Let's see what it ended up being. Come on, Mr. Poll. Let's see. 62% said yes, that you'll be able to tow more than 100 miles by 2030. You do realize, though, that's almost 8 years away. Like, does that sound crazy or what? 2030 is almost 8 years away. You know, I thought we'd be in Jetsons mode by now. What is up, Mr. Kevin Monet? The Nissan King is in the house. What's up, Ben Warren? I'm not sure, Ben, on that. I just caught the cliff notes of the video, and I will go back and watch it. It is interesting, but the EV world, man, and if EV guy, if you jump into this now, what is up, Andy? Oh man, yeah, Andy, you're a trucker, dude. So you got EV trucks coming that way. I know. Was it Pepsi or somebody is hardcore into? Was it with Tesla? I think it is that they're that's coming. Um, but I was curious about towing with these things because you got the new Ford Lightning and stuff that they're claiming, oh, can tow 22,000 pounds or whatever initially they were claiming. I think now they've backed it down to, well, it's 12,000. It's what it can do. But EV, and I'm not going to sit here and say I know much about EV tech as far as how to break the product down, man. It's like building a computer to me. I would rather pull my fingernails across chalkboard, I think, than really break down programming, because that's honestly, when it gets down to it, a lot of the new EVs, I've said it many times on other shows, is it's just your EVs are going to be Apple computers. And I've got notes over here that I've been writing because I'm going to do a show, I'm going to do a video on these EV issues. And I'm trying to get my thoughts completely together. What's up, Pickens Party of 5? Kelly is not here right now. Pickens Party of 5, as you can clearly see, her chair is empty. But with we got GM coming in, and you've Ram. They're doing away. Supposedly all the V8 engines for Ram are going away, or at least with the Challenger Charger, and those are going to go strictly EV, which I think is next month. We see a hint of what they're doing, and so now this past week, Nissan's decided. They're late bloomers. Nissan is nothing but they are always late to the party on this. Oh man, Airplane Mike, look at that! Airplane Mike is a member. If you guys don't know, look at his little deal. And Airplane Mike is supporting the channel by I think, what is it, $4.99 or something? Airplane Mike a month by being a member. So if you guys want to help the channel, membership's down there. But yeah, so Nissan's been kind of late to the party with this stuff. I love the brand, guys. You're gonna hear me. I poke at that bear because I love the brand. And so for me, it's kind of personal because of what they've done to my hometown, how they've built my hometown, and helped a lot of friends. That I know people that are retired from Nissan here locally. HQ is 20 minutes from me. The Smyrna manufacturing plant where they were building all these kick-ass trucks till 2012 is 15 minutes from me. They've basically taken a one-light town and turned it into, I forget how many is in this county now. It's ridiculous how many people live here. Let's see. Jason Boy says, Dave, I know you like Nissan, so if you want one, I'll gladly buy that Bronco. Oh, that's great. I bet. Though there is talk, preliminary talks, like company as my company, as we grow, I've got me and Kelly, like we have to have these official talks now. And there is talk that the Gladiator could be turned into a Frontier, but I don't think I would go Pro 4X. But we're going to save that for later. But so Nissan being late to the game, I've got some pictures up, and you've seen the thumbnail of this one. It shows their I forget what they called that concept, the surf concept. Here, we'll bring it up here. And here is the surf out concept, which I have to say, once again, it's tough love from Dave because I love the brand. But why do I feel like all these pictures that we're about to see, I mean, clearly they're digital renderings, but why do I feel like it was like it's at midnight, your homework, you've got this big homework project that's half your school grades due in the morning, and you're about halfway done. And that's kind of what I feel like these renderings are. Now, they're kind of cool. I always love concepts. And I miss the days like this when concepts were like way out there. Like they just really stretched your imagination of where the brand was going to go, because it used to be that way. Now we get concepts and you're like, damn, look at the Proto Z. They just slightly changed the grill and it was like, bam, all right, we're building that now. So seeing these kind of concepts, like, it kind of warms my heart a little bit. But so let's blow this up just a little bit. Now we've got a very, very truck-like look, except look at the glass. I mean, the glass is really, really slow, but you don't have an engine out there, you know? You can do, like, we think it's crazy now, shapes of vehicles, but just wait. You know, when Audi brought out the cool LED tech with the lights, you know, with the running lights and stuff, like they just changed headlights forever. What they could do with that stuff and how they could, you didn't need a halogen bulb or whatever in there anymore. I think once a big chunk of the manufacturing starts to go EV, like you're going to be able to do stuff like this, like with Nissan shoving that glass way out there, man. For one, it gives you more cabin room. You don't have a lot of mechanical stuff as far as the steering. It's all steer by wire now. So you don't need all this stuff in the dash. And we all know autonomous driving. Did I say that right? Anyways, you're not going to be driving these vehicles much longer anyways, or most people. I think there'll be the button you can push, steering wheel comes out. Like we've seen in the movies where, oh, cool. If I want to drive, if not, the vehicle will take me where I want to be. But I was impressed by this outline of the vehicle here, though I still feel like I feel like they haven't even gotten into clay models with this yet, but I could be wrong. But let's see. Let's go into a couple more of these. The digital sign in the back of this thing. Who takes a company seriously when you do stuff like this? Maybe I'm just showing my age, but I don't get that. Guys, let me know. I mean, you see like the little smiley faces and the emojis and stuff. Like, I'm telling you, cars are going to be computers. That's just all they're going to be anymore. And you just, you'll have your phone. You'll whip your phone out and go, hey, I want to give the car behind me the bird. And you're going to be able to do it in whatever color you want. But obviously, I don't think that's nowhere. You're never going to have that for a production vehicle because I think federal regulations here in the United States would put a stop to that. But the idea of the brake lights being one light bar like that is kind of cool, except for federal regulations. If that tailgate were to come down, you can't have brake lights on any moving parts like that. So that would be, whatever. But let's see. Ben says EVs will follow the flat screen TV trend. Expensive at first and will get cheaper and cheaper and better every year, making the previous vehicles obsolete. But the problem with EVs, Ben, is I think they're going to make owning cars obsolete. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Jason Boyd says, I think the Gladiator should be a third row vehicle with a removable rear top, more like the Tacoma or the Land Cruiser. I like the truck, though. I'm a big fan of the Gladiator. Even though you Bronco guys, how much I love that. Yes, overlanding for fun. Cars are computers. Well, I think they're going to get a lot more computer-like. And yes, mobile, cars will be robots, basically, is what I think they're going to be. And at some point, I think you're going to have some sort of AI that communicates through your phone with you, and you can touch the whatever vehicle you're in, and the operating system takes it over somehow. I want to save that. I want to save my thoughts on this. Now, this is sort of Tesla-like, and once again, it was like Nissan did their homework late at night and had to turn something in. Nothing super original about this per se. Nissan, yeah, you put Nissan on the tires for the Proto Z. We don't need that for everyone. The Aria got the same thing. We know you've got, look, there's Nissan, there's 6 times on the tires total. You got Nissan in the center caps. You got Nissan on the pillar. We get it, guys. But it is interesting. I will say that. And obviously you can see the tailgate would fold down, so there's no way they would allow brake lights like that. Does this kind of remind you of the old Bratz, though? Subaru Bratz? I mean, could that be a seat back there? I'm not sure why it says Z right there. It's kind of strange. But yeah, I guess if you want to tell people to hang loose, bro, you can tell them to hang loose. But let's go, Brandon, on that. Well, I mean, if you wanted to. Knight Rider, hey, man, cars are going to be Knight Rider. And look at the screen. Look at the dash here, if you can see that or not. It looks like one big screen, I think, best I can tell. We'll look into this a little bit deeper. Here's the glass front end, which is all the trend. There's the brand called Canoe, which I would like to buy one of these Canoe or lease one. They're supposed to be out next year. It's like a little minivan. It's kind of portable. Like you can shape them how you want. They do this whole glass front end thing, which I don't know how that would ever pass safety. But I guess if the cars are all autonomous driving or we're going to all have these sensors in them, especially when they go EV and it's easier to do. You're going to have all these sensors where you cannot get so close to a vehicle, and it's going to take all the fun out of driving. But the front end of this is kind of interesting. It's way different for Nissan. I mean, like way different. And if this is the direction, kind of like, we get hints of what another Frontier could look like, that's kind of neat, I guess. Let's see. Yep, there you got Nissan back there again, because you can't tell people Nissan not enough. Now, granted, this is an open back design, so there's no rear glass there for the truck itself. It looks like potential T-tops there, which, hey, guys, hey, manufacturers, bring T-tops back. Would that new Z not have been perfect to have T-tops? That, I don't know if there is some sort of safety regs with that, but oh man, T-tops were the thing, man. I love T-tops. My neighbor used to have a 280ZX, and she'd pop them T-tops. We'd go to school or something. She'd take me to school, and it was badass. But interesting colors on this. This orange is a very Nissan thing. They like that weird color. Now here's where we get into the sort of that the Tesla vibe of the Cybertruck. Except this is kind of more appealing to the eyes versus the Cybertruck. You get in the back glass hatch like that. Now, at no point is that probably ever practical. Once again, this is just concept stuff they're playing around with, getting an idea of what they could do. But could you see a vehicle like that shaped front and back with that hatch glass like that, and then when you need to go the opposite direction, your seats just turn and you move the other direction? I could see something like that with this. Once again, interesting concept. I feel like Nissan really they just needed somebody to give them something. Like, hey, we got to turn in this work. I need something. But this dash, I think that's coming sooner than we think. I really do. I think, and I don't know for trucks necessarily, but I think something like that is coming definitely for cars, because I was told that Nissan was working on, and I haven't dug real deep into the Aria concept, or I guess it's not concept anymore, but supposedly Nissan was working on swipeable dashes, where if you wanted your passenger wanted, I don't know, put the maps over there, you could just literally grab the screen, swipe it over to their screen, and they have that, and they could swipe information to you. So I know they were working on some stuff like that, which I would assume is something about that. But for concepts, like, this is pretty bland. Once again, I mean, it looks like the seats potentially could fold down for whatever reason. I guess if it's a shaggin' wagon, I don't know. But that was Nissan. I wanted to get into that a little bit of future Nissan Frontier, and because this definitely looks mid-sized truck-like. I'm pretty sure in the next 3 years you're going to see a hybrid version of the Frontier. So they're gonna it's coming, guys. It is coming. But hey, this company distilling, that's good stuff, guys. Check that out. I mean, obviously, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but pretty good. Let's see what y'all are chatting about this moment. The Cybertruck is vaporware. Pretty well. Cybertruck is nowhere right now. Tesla's with that stuff is a trip to me, because I love the fact that Elon just will throw out, hey, we're doing this, and they have the balls to make a concept vehicle like Cybertruck and say, hey, put your reservation in, and they had no idea how to build it. I love that. Kevin Monet says, all concept vehicles are impractical. They are there to glance interest in the public, and it's always been that way. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Kevin. But they always do give you a hint of future design, and Nissan's really been known for it. I forget what they called the concept. Basically, it was the Maxima in 2000, the new Maxima, well, the current Maxima. It's like 2009. I forget what they called it. It was very much a hybrid of the Altima and Maxima. And Nissan, they play it close, but they really do. When they give you a concept, an actual physical concept, a lot of times it's pretty damn close to what you're going to get. Of course, Kevin, I know you know more than me about that stuff. Is that a cup holder in the dash? Let me go back there and look, because let's see. That's a good question. I don't know what that is exactly. Maybe it's for your whiskey. Obviously, one pedal driving, which is that's the future. All the sensors they're going to put in these trucks and cars. I mean, you're going to let off the gas, and if it senses something in front of you, it's just going to brake for you. And you're just going to be able to pull the trigger, as it were, and make it go. But yeah, I don't know what that exactly is. I can't zoom in on it any. But I want to look at a couple other of the concepts that Nissan had there. But I would just we'll give the quick notes to this as Nissan with the introduction of 20 new EV and e-powered equipped models in the next 5 years, that's pretty ridiculous. Nissan intends to increase its electrification sales mixed across major markets by 2026. Europe's going to have 75% of the sales, Japan's 55%, which is strange to me. You would think Japan, like especially Tokyo being so tech-driven, you would think your home country, you would have more than that. China 40%, and the United States 40%, which by us in China is, what the problem with that is. There's just so many people trying to force these markets. Like getting Europe to do this stuff is a little easier than it here in the United States. But I love this part. We have a proud and long track record of innovation and our role in delivering the EV revolution. Well, we do know that Nissan, like, if they go about building an electric Frontier, they definitely I put it in one of the ads that I did for this, that they know with building the Leaf, it's given, a lot of people crap on the Leaf, and I mean I like the second generation Leaf. I just don't think it was enough range wise, but it give them a good idea of how to start building their company around EV. Now, I was kind of crapping on Nissan earlier about being kind of slow to market with some of this stuff, but maybe some of that is they test the waters with Leaf, and they don't go all crazy like Tesla did, where you got the 3, the S, and the X, Y, and Z, or whatever they're building. Maybe Nissan was like, hey, we would rather like build, I think they were selling maybe 4,000 a month of Leafs at one point. Kevin might know better than I would about the actual numbers, but it was just enough to get their manufacturing of the battery plants done. They built a battery plant here at the Smyrna manufacturing. Nissan owned it for a couple years and sold it off to somebody to build basically the batteries for them. But maybe that was part of the deal, was they wanted to, let's go slow. Let's get our workforce knowing how to do this. And maybe some of it's to transition their dealerships, because, I've said this on other shows that dealers are dying. And I believe this every day, especially buying the Bronco and some of the issues I had doing that. I really think dealers are dying. And what are they on an EV vehicle that's going to need major service? An engine or a electric motor goes out. I mean, yeah, there'll be techs that can do that, but a lot of that is almost plug and play. There's no diagnosing the driveline, really. It's just you pull the front motor. If it's all-wheel motors, you pull that out. And I'm saying this like I really know what I'm talking about, but I've not worked on EV cars at all. But you put it on and you go about your business, and I think it'll be more, the dealerships are going to be converted more into service centers than they are and point of delivery. We've all learned through the pandemic how you buy a car, they'll deliver it to your damn front door. I think it'll be that way, or if you want a point of delivery at your local Nissan dealership, that it would happen that way. Trying to joke, Kevin says. Nissan would have built this if they were French. Well, Nissan is partly French anymore. But with with Nissan, Nissan and trucks has a weird history too. You look at the Titan and the Titan, as the old former head of Nissan would say. Nissan, like the little trucks, they led America with that. They were the first to bring in the pup trucks to the United States, and then Toyota followed suit, and a few other brands followed suit. They used to really lead these things, which is kind of funny that now they're kind of followers. But they know how to make moves sometimes. And with the little trucks, I think they could, if the federal government, depending on the regulations for the size of vehicle, because that's why you don't have pup trucks anymore, is because crash ratings and stuff. But can you imagine like this concept, a 2-seater like that, of like the old hard body style? And hard body was great. It was so fuel efficient, man. You could get 25, 28 miles per gallon in those little things, man, because they were light. And the little 4-cylinder, 6-cylinders they put in those things were, stupid efficient. But our government requires them to keep getting bigger and bigger, and then they go, I don't know why you guys can't make vehicles to reach our standards. But Nissan knows the little truck, and I could see them doing a small like this, kind of like the Hyundai, what is it, the Santa Fe or whatever they're calling their little truck, or the Maverick. But even though I think Maverick is still too big, but something, a 2-seater like that you could, if EV Tech could get where you could buy a little truck for $25,000. Now it's probably a pipe dream, and you give it 250-mile range at $25,000 in a little truck like that, I think that's a home run. Because most people want a small truck to go to Home Depot or something. They're not commuter cars for them. And, if you want a commuter vehicle, you're going to go with the bigger trucks. But I was getting to earlier that Nissan and their weird history with trucks is the little trucks they know how to do. Big trucks are like just this clusterfuck for Nissan. Like the Titan doesn't sell well. And I was talking to a reporter friend of mine about this and just bouncing ideas off each other. And I was like, do you think this is a way that Nissan can kill the Titan now? Because that's coming. I reported it 3 months ago now. That's coming. That Nissan can go, oh, well, it's just not an environmentally friendly vehicle. It's all positioning. Oh, well, we want to be a company, so we're doing away with the big V8. Because I could see if they do another Patrol or Armada down the road that it's going to get a V6. Like they're not. I mean, the Patrol does get a V6 in certain markets, but I think they were doing the 4-liter that they put in the Frontiers at one time in the last generation. But this would be a great way to go, hey, we're doing. My hound dog's going crazy down there. They could do these little trucks and do away with the big trucks, and then probably slowly start coming back to big trucks as EVs. There was a report, and it's happened a couple of times now, like 2 years ago. I forget the brand, somewhere in Ohio or somewhere, was trying to. They did a clone of a Titan, and it was a digital rendering and it was the Titan, but they were talking about making a full size EV truck. Ben said something funny. They'll figure out a way to sell a service that swaps the electrons from winter power to summer power. Oh, no, they're going to have to sell coding for those electrons. They have to get in there and individually wrap each electron. But yeah, they'll have winter electrons and summer ones. That is great. John Wall says I had a 93 and put 350K on it. That's crazy, man. We've got in my company's fleet. They went from Chevy Colorados to Nissan Frontiers because the Frontier was for a truck that I'm just going to beat the shit out of anyways. We went to Frontiers, and they've been great. Very little problems. Let's see, we got 7 of them right now. And there's one we have that's 270,000 miles on it, and it's a 17. The guy just puts ridiculous miles on his truck. Thing just keeps on ticking, man. But I know for me, like we start switching to EVs, and it's going to be, I need a 400-mile range EV because not that I would put 400 miles per day on it, but like I can put several hundred miles on a truck a day, and it's kind of crazy, like to think of that. And then you get into wintertime where obviously it's not like it's idling, but if you want heater, like if I'm sitting in my vehicle and you need heat, it's pulling battery from that. And obviously the regenerative braking probably helps a little bit recapture some of that once you get moving again. But oh, Kevin, breaking news over there. Armada for 23 is all new and very upscale. Very. And they've been doing that, Kevin. I will say Nissan stepped up their game with their vehicles. I was a little disappointed. I don't know how you guys are with the current Frontier, the new one. I was disappointed from their February reveal to what actually was production. The seats just like way are different. Like I thought that what we saw in February was like damn near production ready, and no, the seats are way different. And no, it's not Lordstown Mobile. It's not Lordstown. It's some upstart that Nissan would probably do business with. But let's see. Bring on the CEI trucks. Let's see. Unless I order, hubs always go bad. Unless I order a Ford Bronco, Mobile says. What's up, YouTube Car Spotters Guide? Nissan needs a more basic patrol. Nissan needs, I mean, all these companies, guys, all these companies need more basic vehicles, except the problem is basic vehicles, they just don't allowed to build a basic vehicle anymore. You know, manual transfer case vehicle, that's gone. But I want to find a couple more of these pictures, because it's not trucks necessarily, but it's going to give us a kind of an idea here of where their trucks could go and their SUVs could go. They call this the hangout concept. Once again, digital rendering. I don't know, in 8 years or in 5 years or whatever they're saying they're supposed to have a lot of their fleet starting to be EV. You'd think you'd have a little bit better idea of what you were going to have there. Obviously, glass roof, which is the trend now. These doors, actually, I think this will actually happen one day in some cars. Those seats you could never do because of crashing. They would break, and you'd shoving your people through the windows and the glass. The canoe concept that I like, and I'll bring up here in a minute, is much like this. You get a lot of real spacious, which is all concepts are always like, oh, look at all the space you're going to get. And very similar to the truck that I showed you a minute ago. You know, I don't know what, I guess in the future we just have this thing that jumps out of the roof for a camping experience. You know, I need to sit in my car and watch a movie. So we got that going for us. Thanks, Nissan. But let me pull up, because I'm interested in the truck stuff. I want to show you this, because I think it's kind of definitely where Nissan is kind of going. And I just think this is a better practical version of what they're trying to do. Edit on the fly here. Have some patience with me. But this is a lifestyle vehicle, kind of what Nissan was doing there. There's their little pickup. I actually would, depending on how the company's doing, I would be interested in one of them. Look at this. The same concept, the same weird steering, the open dash, the open floor plan to this. I think for Nissan, if they were to build something like that as a, let's go back to that. If they were to build something like that, put these features into that concept to make them a reality, would definitely be very cool. Well, let me see here. There's the pickup truck. Definitely, you know, look, once again, all the glass front end on this. And this is a more production ready vehicle. Like, they're supposed to start producing them. What it says, launching as early as 23. That's for the truck. I believe the van that they're going to build is next year. But something like that, Nissan needs to get into, definitely. This is more practical looking than what the concept was that, you know, Nissan was showing. Do they have any in the cab? Any photos of the cab? Let's see. Because, once again, this is, I hate to use another company as going, hey, this is what they're probably doing. But, see the range on this, 200 miles. But the problem is the price on this, and I think it's $30-some thousand. Let's see. There's their little minivan, which I kind of like. I want to see the interior, because it's definitely kind of what Nissan was. Okay, there you go. You can see this. Look at all that openness. Definitely the way they're building this too. You could switch this over for your European model. Seats, futuristic, but not like those that Nissan was showing. Obviously, this is a more practical bench seating, kind of what Nissan was trying to show. And I only show this because this is more of a future vehicle that actually is looks like it could be right now versus what the Nissan truck was. But where do you guys stand with an EV truck? No matter what brand right now. I know this is my Nissan Frontier show, but where are you at with EVs? You know, we got the Lightning coming out next year. Tesla, who knows when. We've got the Rivians out sort of now, where they build like 10 a day, I think. Just enough, I guess, that every major YouTuber can have one to test out. You know, Doug DeMuro did one on the Rivian where he was trying to do some off-roading with it, and once the truck's like trying to always, each wheel's independent, so you sort of have lockers, but you don't, because each wheel's trying to turn on its own dime. that was kind of interesting. I know for off-roading for me, EV sounds horrible. They're heavy as hell for another thing. So we're going to get into all this EVs with like, say, potentially a Nissan Frontier that's EV, where that vehicle is what I'm guessing 4,500 pounds, maybe a hair more. You're going to get it's going to end up being what, probably 7,500 pounds to have a practical EV battery. I did some time with the new Hummer. I did a nice walk around with it. Thing is massive, and you know why it's massive? Because it's heavy as hell, and they need all that extra battery space. So that's something that these EV trucks are going to have to look at. But first, cheers, everybody. And remember, because I'm drinking sitting here, don't drink and drive, people. Let's see. I don't think many people will buy an EV truck for work unless they have the 500 plus range. I would agree, Kevin. I definitely would agree with that, because 500-mile range and practical, that's with nothing in the vehicle. You start putting a lot of weight and stuff in that vehicle, and then that 500 becomes 425, and then you try to tow with it. That range comes 250, and we're just not there yet for me for practical EVs. But I think a small EV Frontier, even they could call it a hard body. Bring that name back, man. There's each name that any manufacturer has is worth $1 billion because of all the money they've had into marketing and stuff. That's why the Pathfinder is what it is now, and not some hardcore off-road vehicle. That, and just Nissan doesn't want to build those anymore. But they could bring the hard body back. I'm telling you, with a 200-mile range, a small bed, 5 foot, 5.5 foot bed, if that. That's where the brand could really be a game changer. Don't go for what everybody else is doing. And the brand has a weird habit of like copying everybody now instead of being a leader. Look at the Titan. It looks like a ripoff of an F-150 and Ram. Frontier, which I love the Frontier, but you can't say they didn't blend some of the Tacoma into it. Do a hard body style, because EV needs to be aerodynamic, but for a pickup truck, I think you could get away real boxy. And give me 200-mile range, $25,000 to $28,000, and I'm there with them. And it's a market that's a market that nobody's really after. You know, Maverick is only so popular because, well, for one, you can get a hybrid in it, or you can get the little smaller, what is it, a 3-cylinder? I think they're putting in that thing. You get something small, and yeah, you can get 40 miles per gallon. But can you imagine doing that same concept as an EV, and you're going, hey, man, I charge this thing up 6 hours or whatever it would cost or do it, and I did it for $1, and I drove 200 miles. Like, you would kill Ford with their Maverick. And Ford, trust me, there's going to be an EV, strictly EV Maverick coming. So what are you guys talking about in the chats? Let's see. And Peugeot says EV trucks need real range towing, more than 200 miles. I agree. But I think what's going to happen with some of the EV trucks is they're going to do EV trucks because of CAFE regs. These companies need all the EV they can get to get the regs up. But what's going to happen is your full-size pickup trucks, they're just going to label them commercial vehicles. That's it. They'll be commercial. I mean, they're still going to be nice. But you'll have to somehow have some sort of business to actually buy one. Now, used market, I don't know how that would ever happen, how they would sell them. But the government would love to do away with the big gas trucks. EV equals small golf cart. Well, and those golf cart batteries go bad too. YouTube Car Spotter says a small king cab 6-foot box. I just think the 6-foot box is too big. The Ranchero. Yeah, well, that's what Ford should have called the Maverick. Let's see. John Walsh says the Maverick is basically the same size as the second-gen Frontier. No, I think it's a little bigger, honestly. It definitely, when I got to see him in SEMA, it definitely felt, I don't know, something more. It definitely felt wider, anyways. But I like the little thing. But with EV, like, you can definitely structure the underpinning. It's all battery, anyways. So you can do a unibody style vehicle for that. And I think that, with the Maverick, you see that it looks more truck-like than what Honda was doing. Who knows what Honda was doing? They have a weird cult with their unibody pickup truck, but that's about it. Let's see, Flytrap, what is up, bro? I ain't seen you in a while, man. A few years back, TFL took a Tesla SUV with 300-mile range and towed a small utility camper trailer with it. They made 80 to 100 miles range before it was nearly dead battery. Yeah, I remember that. I remember them doing that. A Maverick is the same length as a regular cab 94 F-150, John says. I believe that in a heartbeat. But I also believe that I remember my dad's Silverado. He had a 77 Silverado he bought brand new. And you look at those old square body Chevys, you put them up against anything midsize now, and you're like, damn, it's almost the same size. So trucks have gotten bigger. I mean, I look at my Bronco. I was driving around today just having a blast with that thing, and there's no doubt about it. It's like being you feel like you're in a full-size truck. It's definitely wider than the Jeep. Not by much, but with the fenders and everything, it's wider. And everything's just gotten bigger. And some of that's for safety, too. You have to realize they're building these vehicles to absorb impacts better, so they need more space away from the cabs. I get that, but same point. Let's see. Kevin A says, I saw a Mav in the neighborhood the other day, mint green. It was all right looking. Yeah, they're not bad. Definitely got some Ranger stuff we're going to talk about on one of my other shows. I may do just a normal ATN Live about that with the Global Ranger. Basically looks like a Maverick. Oh, man. Let's see. Mobile says a 68, 86 Chevy cabs were all the same. I don't doubt that. Well, some of the dash materials were different, definitely. Because those 70s like that, the C10 Silverados and all that, they were definitely started using plastics in there because the dashes would crack. After a couple years, they were all cracked up. Let's see. No to the mint green. I like fun colors, though, and that's where I think the Nissan Frontier right now is missing out. Yeah, they've got the Battleship Gray now. You've got the, whatever they call the green. But after that, it's just kind of, I would have done that lime green that Toyota's doing in a heartbeat. That thing looks great on the Tacoma. It's not a color for everybody. But those colors grab attention. And the people I think a lot of people like that were buying Xteras and maybe Frontiers to an extent wanted something different that draws a different attention. And some bright colors like that would be great on a Frontier. Let me know in the comments, what colors would you be interested in for a Frontier? Let's see. Oh, I got chats coming in here. Oh, man. Poor Pickens family. Oh, man. Made me lose my thought. What's up, Buford? Or Bluford? I saw two Maverick base models parked at the same house. Reminded me of the size of the old Rangers from the late 80s. They're bigger than the Rangers, dude. Them old square-light Rangers. They were, maybe. Boulder Gray, Kevin says. Kevin's going to correct me on that. Ben says Bronco needs a color called orange juice. Yeah, no, that would be great. Where are you guys at with colors, though, as far as like with what Nissan could potentially do to grab some attention? Do you think next year that the Frontier gets a couple new colors, they would be smart to every year offer something exclusive for that year? I know Honda used to do that with the Elements. They would have one color a year. It's the only time you were getting it. I had a cargo khaki color that I loved in the Honda Element, and I think they should do that. Take some chances. The Nissan brand needs it. Like, sales of the current Frontier are pretty damn good. And when I say that, I need to look that up real quick because I want to talk about that before we end this. Let's see, news sales reports. All right. Kevin can't answer this because he's going to know the answer. Let's see. Q3. Where are you at? Q3 trucks. There you are. They sold 11,667 Frontiers in Q3, and that goes from July 21 to September 21. So I imagine they're going to hit. They're going to hit probably 14,000 this last quarter if they could produce the vehicles. Titan, God, 5,000 basically for what, 3 months? They killed the Xterra off for lesser than that. The Xterra was doing way better than that. They were selling 15,000 a month, something like that, and they killed it off. It's amazing what these truck numbers, what it's acceptable now. Rogue sold 52,000, sold 60,000 a year before. What is the weak link GTR? Man, they've sold 68 GTRs in 3 months. That thing is a dinosaur. Z, they sold 3 because everybody knew the new one's coming. Wow, Altima sales are just ridiculous. Cars in general, like we love trucks so much anymore and SUVs. I think that's another reason why Nissan might want to push this big EV within the SUVs and trucks is car sales are just like dying. Nissan and Toyota are hanging out there on a thread. It's ready to break because the old Altima used to sell, I forget, a month. It was like 40,000, maybe more a month. But I just keep watching those things die. Maximas, jeez. I haven't paid attention to Nissan numbers in a while, as you can tell. So I'm kind of amazed at these numbers I'm seeing. Of course, we're still, whatever your beliefs are on the pandemic or not, I mean, it still affected chip manufacturing. I know the Pathfinder for Nissan, they shut it down. Like, they're not building any Pathfinders right now because part issues. Let's see, anything else stands out there? Nope. Nothing. Nissan, they need to take a chance. So I'm looking over their press release. The press release for this, by the way, that Nissan did, I think it was Tuesday, was just horrible. Just horrible, man. They need a spokesman for the company that can go out there and send the message. I don't need your CEO out there trying to spread the message of what we're doing. Oopsie. Let's see. Did I get rid of the Kelly? No, the Kelly is she was too abusive, and she had a meeting of something she had to do. So something with she's a part of our softball organization, which I will say, you might see it up on the sign every once in a while. The channel sponsors a couple softball teams, man, and with y'all's support, I do that. So, and that's what she's at. She's part of the organization that puts all that on. So happy to support them, by the way, and because of your donations that you guys do. So there we go, guys. That is the Nissan Frontier. Not a ton of news to talk about that thing right now. The auto industry is about to get really, really slow. I mean, like, December is horrible. Everybody's gone by next week. HQs are running at idle, basically. They don't do much. They're getting ready to we got the Chicago Auto Show, I think, is the first one up at the beginning of the year, which I will, unless all hell breaks loose with the vid, I will be at that one. And I think we're going to see something special from Nissan there. But if you guys got any questions or comments, this was a tough show for me tonight because there's just not a lot of auto news for Nissan right now, and especially the Frontier. And I do want to, the first of the year, we do plan on having on this show, we're going to have some special guests. We're going to bring in some, like I do with the Bronco stuff, I'm going to bring in people who I think in the community deserve a little, to help their channels out. Definitely some aftermarket companies. We're definitely going to get Shadow Wolf on here. If you guys don't know who Shadow Wolf is, go look at Shadow Wolf MFG, I think .com is their site. They build Nissan aftermarket parts. I'm curious did they I don't know if they've got their hands on the new Frontier, but I know Hefty Fab Works. I don't know if you guys have seen their front bumpers. I talked about it a little bit last week. Amazing. Niztec Lifts is offering a bunch of cool lifts for these Frontiers. And like I was saying earlier in the show, there's a potential chance that we trade the Gladiator in for a Frontier. Though I don't think I would go Pro 4X. What would you guys like to see if we were to to build something. Oh, thank you, Zachary. I'm happy to talk Bronco. I'm happy to talk Frontier. And, hey, Bronco guys, there's another live show coming with a different brand pretty soon too, the first of the year. So the Wednesday nights are going to get more interesting because these live shows are a lot of fun for me, and I like talking to you guys about whatever brands you like talking about. But yeah, there's the beginning of the year. We're gonna have a lot of cool stuff coming. Let's see, Buford. I like to see more trucks like the Frontier, also Bronco offered with a rough finish. Oh, I did. Ooh, Bronco guy. Let's see if anybody's looking. I seen some hints of the new Heritage Edition. I can't show anything. People would die, but let's just say square fenders. We'll leave it at that. And that's if front seat Bronco guy. You should watch these shows. You never know when I'm going to throw something in there. Will there be a Nismo next year? John Walsh says. I haven't heard anything on that in a while, but right before they launched the current Frontier that we see now, I was told Nissan wanted to get that one out of the way, get it rolling, and then they wanted to roll into the next year of doing a Nismo version. Now I've posted those pictures or picture that I had. You see it from time to time on our Instagram page. They would be dumb not to do something like that. But they would, I would do something like that with, I would do a hot engine. Don't put the same 3.8 in it. No, I did a video on the Nissan Nation Productions channel about this time last year where I hinted that maybe they could take the 3-liter in the Z. Could you imagine them doing that in a truck, a twin turbo 3-liter at 400 horsepower? Now, obviously, it'd probably be a little less horsepower because they got to crank some torque out of that thing. But that's a place where Nissan can make hay in the community. Ranger's coming, man, and Ranger is coming with a Raptor. Ford's been teasing the Bronco Raptor. Well, they ain't building just one. They're twins anyways, so they're gonna build a Frontier or a Ranger Raptor. Global says with a GTR motor, that's too big. The motor's just too crazy in it. Plus that motor, honestly. Dude, that motor is so old anymore. And I think for that, that 3.8 is, yeah, it's made to get high horsepower, but I just think it's a wrong engine for that truck. But I honestly could see them doing the 3-liter in a truck, and people would be like, "Oh, well, you get the 3.8 in it now." You're like, "Yeah, but this one's 400 horsepower, man." That would be pretty freaking wicked. Yes, I did, Flo. I did hear about Matt's off-road. And I don't know if you guys watch that Matt's off-road channel, but he's in a little bit of hot water for insurance fraud right now. Interesting channel. I've only recently found him, and I watched him pull a few weird vehicles out. But you can't do insurance fraud. AAA doesn't like to pay for off-road recoveries, and he was having those people after he wouldn't bill them till after they signed up for AAA, and then was claiming they pulled him out of a ditch or something. Ben Warren says the Frontier desperately needs a higher trim off-roader just for marketing alone. In reviews, everyone keeps saying not as good as the TRD Pro or Rubicon. Well, Rubicon is... but the ZR2, I don't even like comparing the Chevy ZR2 to a Rubicon, even though they're pretty similar in idea. Rubicon's not the package you're wanting to put yourself up against now. And I hate to throw this because I've been on the Bronco train. The Sasquatch package is the new benchmark. Now, granted, you want ultimate flex, ultimate off-road vehicle. Yeah, you go Rubicon, you put 37s on it, you go tackle whatever you want. But as far as ride quality, the Bronco is where it's at. I'm telling you, man, that Sasquatch package, it rides. It's not a sports car. I took mine out today and was doing some windy roads, trying to get more of a feel for how this thing handles. And it still handles like a big truck. But that is the bench for off-road vehicles now. Factory 35s, even though I know they're coming with 37s in the Raptor. And I kind of feel like the Bronco Raptor is going to be a failure. But as far as like trucks, the bummer for the Frontier right now is you can barely put 33s under it. You Gen 2 guys know about the melt mod. Like, this is a whole new melt mod you have to do with this. I mean, it's pretty in depth with what you have to do to get 33s under this. And I've done time with that Z1, and I wanna set up where I can go do some reviews on those trucks, some proper reviews. But from doing some time with their lifted versions, like, they ride great, but my understanding was to get 33s, which I hate to say, when I was a kid, man, 33s were monster truck tires for your daily truck. And now 33s are standard. Like, 35s are the new kind of big tires, and really 40s are getting to be, I hate to think that 40s are getting to be the kind of ones you want to go to. 33s is stretching it, yeah. John Walsh says it won't outrun a Maverick. I say this in my Bronco shows. I don't need especially if it's 4-wheel drive, I do not need my 4-wheel drive pickup 0-60 times. I know it's a benchmark. It's my dick is bigger than your dick kind of thing. I don't need that at all. I don't go on trails, or I'm not out in the woods enjoying camping or whatever going, you know what? Damn it, Bubba. Let's line them up. Tree to tree. Let's see who's faster. That's not for me. If I wanted to line something up, it's a GTR. Put me in a GTR and I'll line it up all day long. Jim Connors, Datsun 721 Baja trucks. I think Danny, that may be who Danny interviewed. YouTube. He's out in SoCal. Danny did some interviewing with the guys that had the old Datsun Nissan racing trucks. They will sell every Raptor they build to no class. I'm happy with 33s. And Peugeot, are you happy with your because you've got a Outer Banks, if I remember right? Yes, John Walsh, TFL. Well, so Chicago Auto Show 2020, I went to a press event for Nissan. We thought the new Frontier was coming out. I was told it was, and then after I booked my flights, my inside source was like, Dave, they're pulling it again. But they put the new 3.8 in the old truck, and they did the press release and that. And I when I was talking to Nathan a couple weeks ago, I told him I was impressed how they, like, zero F's given, man. They're there to cover that vehicle. And I learned a lot just by watching these guys. Of you get in there, a lot of the press are having drinks and, talking to each other. TFL was behind the curtain, filming, doing everything they could to be first. And much respect goes to them for that. I don't always like all their content, but, I don't always like my own content sometimes. But then they got, right when the pandemic hit, Andre got a Frontier with that engine in it, and he was out there doing 0-60 times by himself, which, hey, man, I get it. You got to feed people. We need content. But then he wanted to do 0-60 times in 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel high. And I was like, these aren't sports cars. I don't know. They kind of, to me, was, I don't know. I'm not going to say because I'm friendly with those guys. It just wasn't, I didn't think it was content for me. But yeah, they were doing some weird 0-60 times. I'm sure my OBX just has a really big set with 33s. Nice. On Badlands suspension tomorrow. Nice. Let's see. Any more comments in there? Nissan definitely needs another truck home run hit. Even if they do something like the Hyundai Santa Fe, they need something else. Just cut the back half off of a Rogue. Though the Rogue's been out for, 3 years maybe, starting to look a little old. It's due for a refresh. Kevin Monet there says that we're going to get a new Armada. There was a lot of talk that Armada was going to get changed to Patrol. They were going to bring that nameplate here, though I doubt they ever do that. There's a certain clientele that buys that vehicle, and they don't want to scare those people. They don't want to change names and just, then suddenly they're not selling any of them. I like hooning. Don't get me wrong. I like hooning in something intended to be kick-ass out there, having some fun. Now, don't get me wrong. I've taken I've taken a Frontier or two out into a field and just slid them around because it was fun. But as far as as I wrap this up, as far as the Frontier Nismo, I've not been a fan of the Nismo name for trucks. Leave that for the cars. Give the trucks its own identity as far as your performance division. And when you do it, get back into desert racing. You know, I wish the stadium racing would come back because I used to love, as a kid in the 80s, I loved watching the stadium series racing. They were always at the LA Coliseum running there. It was always so much fun. ESPN used to show that stuff all the time. But do it for, you know, I was told that Nissan built something for King of Hammers a year ago with the Frontier. So do we see it, King of Hammers? We got that coming up. I'm trying to get there and to another event. It's going to be a last minute on King of the Hammers, whether that happens. But that would be super cool. Ford's proven that you can go to these events like that and build a kick-ass truck, take people for rides in them. Could you imagine they launch a Nismo version and drop it at King of Hammers to do some just desert running like they were doing in the Broncos last year? Would be freaking epic, man. Steal a page out of their books. Hell, you steal their designs sometimes. Why not steal a page of their marketing? Yeah, the Bajas, man. You know, Danny would be all about. Danny's a driver. If you need a Baja racer, Danny would do it. Those are like Nissan used to. They owned that for a long time. You know, I know there was Ivan Stewart with the stadium stuff, but Nissan always did better in the Baja stuff, I believe, than Toyota was doing. There's places to do that. We don't need NASCAR anymore. All these littler off-road event races are much like what we're doing to the modern media here. Like, we're just destroying these big outlets because you guys want more, you know, brand-focused content or more personality-driven content, I'd say. So, Nissan, if you're listening, which I know you do watch these things from time to time, hit me up. Let's talk. All right, guys, so whether it be two-wheel drive. Wait. I'm not out. Four-wheel drive. You know, it doesn't matter what you drive because this has been your All-Terrain Nation. We've been talking Frontier trucks here on the channel. And Monday, I got a Bronco video dropping with some, it's got some sounds to it. Peugeot, I'm trying to end the show and you're dropping some 1113 on me. Picked one OBX two-door advanced for 47 or a 392. In Peugeot, man, that 392, have you drove one? They're like nothing else. I mean it, like nothing else. So this has been your All-Terrain Nation. And I'm your host, Dave Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. See y'all Monday night.